Hello and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. This is part 2 for this week's theme of Tag Team over at the Funkie Junkie Inspiration Avenue blog. We have made a whole bunch of fun tags. Now, what do we do with them now that they're made? Let's find out. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Okay, now that we have all of our tags assembled, it is time to make something out of these. We've got these wonderful tags. This one was done with some distress crayon. Over here we have a tag that was die cut on a piece of embossed paper to look like cobblestone. We had a tag where we did a little bit with rub-ons as a resist, and we had a collage tag. We had a few others, but these are the ones that we're going to be creating with. This week's challenge over at the Funkie Junkie Inspiration Avenue was to create a project that used more than one tag. So we're going to create 2 projects, and each project is going to feature 2 to 3 tags. Let's start with this one over here. So first things first, tags don't necessarily have to stay in the form of tags. Tags are a great way to create things, but they can also be a jumping point for a card. So for example, for this one, I've got a tag, but I don't really need this in the shape of a tag. I've got a lovely base from the latest Tim Holtz Idea-Ology paper set, and well, I'm going to chop this up to fit on here. And to do that, we're going to be bringing in the mini tonic trimmer. So I'm just going to line this up here, and I'm going to give myself a little mark so I know exactly where I'm going to be cutting. Got my pencil over here. There. Now I know how much of my tag I'm trimming. When I cut tags, I always like to place them face down because otherwise I get too involved in exactly where I'm making my cut. But if I flip it over, I can't tell exactly where the cut is, and it's all good. So this was originally a craft tag that we altered with some collage paper. This was some of this year's collage paper palette and some stuff from an older release, but still love typeset. So we did some mixing and matching. Now let's go ahead and stick this onto here. We're going to do that. We're going to need a little bit of ATG tape. Stick that down. Okay, and a little bit more. Good. So we're just going to take this, make sure this is right side up, and I'm going to stick that right in the middle of our foundational background. Just want to make sure this is all lined up. Okay, good. Oh, I've got some overhang. Interesting. But let's try it this way. Okay, good. So this is our card base, and for building on the card base, I decided that we're going to be using one of the new Tim Holtz Sizzix dies. This one that we're going to be pouring in is this one with the beautiful flower, which is called Blossom. Blossom is gorgeous, and I love working with this one, and that is going to make a beautiful focal point for our card. But in addition to that, I also want to pull in a few pieces from some of the ephemera layers. I've got some nice leafy pieces here. I think I want a few more, so let's go ahead and pull out that ephemera pack. There we go. Pull a couple more leafy pieces. And this is from Tim Holtz Layers Organic. So let's see here. Yep, I want that, and There's so many good pieces here, it's hard to pick and choose which ones to use, but yeah, let's go with an extra little flower. I think that will be lovely. So take that, and we'll just stick these back into their container so that I can use them later. All right, putting these back here. We'll set that off to the side. All right, so I've got my pieces. Now let's go ahead and build Blossom. So I've already got all my pieces die cut. Some of these I did with the double-sided sticky tape. For papers that I used, I was using the Tim Holtz Idea-Ology foundations, and we've got some of the black craft stock, and we've got some of the cool tone craft stock. So you can just take the sticker backing off, and then we can start building the flower. So today I'm sticking in cool tones for the most part. We've got some purples going on here, and yeah, mostly cool tones and a small splash of pink here and there. All right, so this is a very easy die set to build with. Everything is nicely laid out, and it's really easy to go in and place all of the pieces. They're pretty intuitive for building with. And then we've got the big fancy piece. This I die cut out of a background that I had collaged with, and it's got a really nice feel to it. So we're going to take that piece. Okay, now I just have to line things up. This is probably the trickiest part of this die set, just because of the way this is angled, but I think we've got that. I think this is correct. Yep, right here. All right, so we'll just layer this part down. Make sure everything is lining up nicely. Next, let's attach the centers. So the center came in 2 layers. We've got a metallic craft stock center base, and we've got this. So just put that down, stick this here, and now just want to adjust my camera a little bit. Bring this piece over and make sure that's in focus. Okay, and we'll just stick this last piece down, and that is going to give us our focal point. And here is the completed flower. So this is going to be our centerpiece, and for this I definitely want to pop that up on some foam squares. I'm out of my big foam squares, so we're gonna make do with some of these little ones, but those will work just as well. Just put a few on here so we get a little bit of dimension going. Okay, so we're just going to peel off the backings, and then we'll place the flower, and then I'm going to add the organic layers next before we start looking at adding a sentiment and finishing touches. Okay, looks like I forgot maybe 1 or 2 more. No, 1, 2, 2. Good. So there's the flower. Here's our card base. We're going to stick that right here. And now I'm going to take our leafy greens, and I'm just going to tuck these around the flower and see what works. Do I even want this in here? No, I don't want that, but we do want this. Yeah, this should work quite well, unless would that look better over here. I absolutely love experimenting with different elements and trying out different combinations to get different looks on cards. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the way those are looking, so now we're just going to take some collage medium, then we can stick down our leafy layers. Okay, I'll just slide that under here. Good. And I can always chop off the little bit of overhang after. Okay, and this side. Now I'm thinking for finishing touches I want to add a second mini tag for our sentiment, and I'm also going to be pulling in some velvet trim. That's going to give me a little landing spot for the tag. Now the question is, will the velvet trim look good here, or, ooh, I think I want to go across the top. Yeah, across the top is going to be good. All right, so I'm just going to take the ATG tape again, and we're going to carefully apply some of the adhesive to the back of the velvet ribbon. Just have to carefully move that along. There we go. There. I find that is way easier to deal with than trying to get collage medium on here to stick this down. Okay, that's going to go right there. Just tuck that behind. Good. And so I've got this little tag right here, and we're going to be adding a sentiment to it. I'm going to be pulling in the stamp set, Noteworthy, and this is CMS 446. And we're going to use the stamp Full of Wonder. Definitely one of my favorite ones, and perfect for stamping on a small space. So I've got my stamping block, and we're pulling back in some archival ink, and this is Villainous Potion. Inking up our stamp, and quickly stamping that down. There. And we will just put that right here. Ooh, you know what? I could use a brad through this. That would be neat. I think I've got some hardware head brads over here. Also Idea-Ology. Let's see. Which container is it in? That's always the question. I've got many of these little containers, but I don't always remember where I stash stuff. Ooh, let's see. Yes, I've got some hardware head brads. That is going to be perfect to attach that mini tag. So to do that, I'm just going to take the Sizzix die pick tool, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a hole to work with. Take this, put that through there, and carefully work that through the hole that I just made. I'm just going to try not to smudge anything. Okay, perfect. All right, turning this over, I can adjust that later. Putting the brad down. Oh, yeah, I really like that. That is a good finishing touch. That makes me really happy. Okay. All right, and the last thing I need to do is trim off that little bit of overhang from that leaf. And here we go. This is our first completed card using multiple tags. Over here in the background, we have a large tag that I was able to cut down and use as part of the background. And over here, we have a mini tag that I was able to stamp a sentiment on for the card. Okay, let's pull in our next set of tags, and we're going to be working with a bit of collage. Here is our next collection of tags. And here we've got a wonderful foundation. This was made with distress crayon and a bit of collage medium. So we've got a wonderful backdrop that we can start creating on. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pull in a few elements that we can collage onto here. I've got all sorts of collage pieces. This is ephemera from this year's ephemera pack and some pieces from some previous years, and I've got a couple of die cuts from Sizzix. This is the star impresslet strip. I've also got a flourish, and we've got a heart. So we've got all sorts of great elements that we can work with. So we're going to go ahead and grab some collage medium, and I'm just going to smear a bit of that over the card, and then we're going to collage. We're not going to worry too much about whether or not stuff is overlapping, overhanging. It doesn't particularly matter. We just want to get elements on here so that we can create layers. Oh, and look at that. I have another tag to go on top of a tag. Perfect. So let's put that one here. We'll put that going across. And it's not a big deal again if we have stuff that overlaps or overhangs. That is perfectly normal when we are collaging. The idea is to just get layers. Wonderful, wonderful layers. All right, let's put that there. And as you can see, I'm definitely going to be layering up with the collage medium. I've got a little bit of smudging going on with the distress crayon. That is totally fine because this stuff is in the background. And as we know, the background is the background. Okay, just going to keep this turned. Let's see, that's good. So I'm not thinking too much. I tend to overthink if I plan too much in advance for collaging. I like my collages to be a bit more spontaneous and just fun. Collaging should absolutely be fun. And I find that if I overthink it, then it is not nearly as fun, and then I spend forever trying to think where I should place something. And that isn't how I want collage time to go. I want collage time to be, well, not quick and efficient, but quick and decisive. I think that's a good word for it. Because, I don't know, I'm not a fan of hovercrafting. Hovercrafting typically doesn't lead to anywhere good for me. Okay. All right. We are getting somewhere. I like it. So, we are slowly starting to get some layers built up, and very shortly I'm going to have to stop and let this dry, and then we will start adding more layers once these pieces have set in place. Oh, I need something. Oh. See, this is the problem. If I have too much stuff and I don't know what to do, and then I'll just keep digging through bins, and I will not know where I'm ending up or what I'm going to end up with. Ooh. Yes. Trying to keep this going, trying to just let there be a flow, not overthink. Easier said than done. Okay. I think I just need a couple more little things and then I am good. All right. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. I am pretty happy with the collage. I do want to give this a little bit of time to dry. While that is drying, I'm going to pull in a few elements that are going to be part of the collage once I start building the focal point. So one question, what do we put on a tag? When a tag is just tag. I like to think of my tags as little mini snippets of art. I usually like to display them on my tag display board. I'll show you that before the end of the video. And then once I'm done with them, then I chop them up, use them for die cutting, or I use them for new focal points on other things. So for our focal point today, I want to use a paper doll. I've already altered this one with a bit of Nightfall glitter and some distress crayon. I also have a stamped butterfly. This is from the stamp set Flutter that has been doused in glitter, and this is some of the clear rock candy. I felt like creating a little purple fairy to go onto our collage. So we're just going to give her some wings. Got that. Now, I'll set that aside for the moment. I've got two things that I want to alter. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use on here just yet, but we will see. So, it's not just paper that can go onto your collages for tags. You can also use metal elements, and these are from Idea-Ology. We have one of the newer key sets, and I also have some metal number pieces. Now these two can also be altered. To do that, I'm going to be pulling in some distress crayon. We're going to be using some pick a fence, and I'm going to be using that to highlight the numbers and lettering on these metal pieces. So there's our pick a fence. I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to scribble. I want to press that distress crayon into the numbers in order to highlight them. And we'll do that up here as well. That's looking pretty good. Keep scribbling. Okay. I am happy with that, and I'm going to get some water and wipe that off in a moment, but I also want to highlight the word dream over here. So again, a little bit of crayon, scribble, and smush. There. Pretty easy. Another way to alter pieces. Now, I'm just going to put a little bit of water onto my cloth, and I just want to wipe off the metal piece. The stuff in the center I want to stay put, but the rest of it can get cleaned. Good. So I am liking this. Those are two pieces that we can definitely use on our collage. Let's see how the collage piece is doing. Alright, so I'm going to start trimming off the edges. It's getting dry, it's a little bit tacky, but that's okay. Let's trim our edges. So again, I'm flipping the tag upside down. This is very deliberate. Otherwise, I would spend way too much time agonizing over what is getting cut off. Like this, it's not pretty, it's not interesting. I can just snip with zero guilt. Okay. There's that. Recycle the scraps. Okay. So, now, oh, I just remembered. I want this fairy to have a resting spot, and I think I might have some mushrooms around. I will be right back. I'm going to double check on that. Okay, yes, I found mushrooms. I absolutely forgot that I had some of these packs stored. This is an older ephemera pack by Tim Holtz, and this is Field Notes, and they have some amazing mushrooms in here. Really, I wish we could get a whole pack of just nothing but mushrooms. The mushrooms are unbelievably awesome, and I love using them as little props. Okay, mushroom, yay. So we'll just take that, I'm going to add that onto our collage, then we can set our fairy down. Okay, right there, that's good. Oh. And now more collage medium on the back of the fairy. Good. Just take that and we'll put her right here. Great, that mushroom is just really, really making me happy right now. That is good. Okay, now what do I want to do with this? Is this, yeah, kind of does, sort of. No. I do want to add a metal element to this, but I'm now kind of second guessing what metal element I want to add. I'm going to just kind of check my stash and see what other elements I might have. And you know what? I don't even want this here. The thing with collaging, you can change your mind again and again and never quite be finished. I know I want the wings on the girl, but I was going to be layering this up with multiple tags. Okay, so that's going on there for certain. You know, I need to trim that down. That is taking up way too much space. Easy enough. Let's bring this back. Sure that this is still going to fit on nicely. Let's see. I want to keep this kind of proportional. Here should be good. Okay, and then we'll just trim down the other side. Alright, and I still want to have kind of the tag look. Okay, not bad. All right, again, clearing the board, gotta get rid of the scraps. Okay, coming back here. So we're going to be layering this up. That's gonna go here. And then we're going to have this tag go here. Now that works. Now it has a landing zone. Okay, so putting glue on the back. See, with these tags, there isn't really a plan, and it's just kind of a creative playground just to try out random ideas, see what works, see what doesn't work, and potentially use those ideas at a later date on a card. I like to think of these tags as mini experiments. Okay, and I'm definitely going to be adding a ribbon onto this at the end, but for right now I just want to stack our tags like that. Oh. I do like how that's coming out. Okay. And now I can take the metal piece, and now it has a landing zone. Before it kind of just looked like it was just floating, which I was not okay with. Okay. Good. I like that there. Now, let's go down here, and we're going to add our mushroom back and our fairy. Okay. Mushroom here. Good. And fairy. She keeps losing her wings. It hasn't quite had time to stick together yet. That's okay. We're going to keep going. Okay. I'm just going to hold that for a little bit while that sets up. And here we have a collage tag. Now for the finishing touches on this, I want to add a vibrant purple ribbon. This was made with some of the old crinkle ribbon. I absolutely love this stuff. I know you can get seam binding now and dye ribbon and custom color it, but I have a soft spot for the old crinkle ribbon. There's just something very nostalgic about it. So we have this, and I dyed this in a combination of shaded lilac with a splash of wilted violet. And we're going to use that to hold all of our tag elements together. Okay, so I'm just going to poke that through, loop it, and tag. So on here we have 3 tags combined for a tag collage. And now let's finish off with a couple of finishing touches. So I have a little paper clip. This is another Idea-Ology piece, and I just wanted to tuck that in the side over here, just as a little added embellishment. I love adding little things to projects. It just gives it those finishing touches. All right, let's see. Just want to make sure that actually goes on here. There we go. Just slide that up a little bit and tuck that on. Good. So I've got my paper clip in, and I wanted to add another little strip just to finish off my collage. I noticed I kind of had an empty spot going on over here, so I just wanted to finish that off with this. A little bit more collage medium, make sure that's stuck down and incorporates it fully into the collage. And I came across a random little purple flower. This is a Idea-Ology flower, not sure what that fell off of, but that can get tucked over here. Another nice little element. And for the very last thing, I need to add a sentiment. And for this, I decided I wanted to use one of the Tim Holtz Idea-Ology label stickers, and we're using the sentiment, "Make today count." That seems like a good one to go on here. Right there, that works. Okay, and this is our finished tag, which incorporates a total of 3 tags. Now let's pull back in our second project from today. Our theme this week has been tag team, and we have made tags in a variety of styles and then incorporated them into 2 very different projects. Over here on the right, we have a traditional card. In the background, this piece right here used to be a craft tag. Then I collaged over it before chopping it up to become part of our background. Then over here on our left, we have a mixed media collaged tag. I love playing with tags. Tags are a great way to experiment, to dream, and to try crazy little experiments that you're not sure if they'll work, and a tag is just a tag. And when you're done with the tag, if you don't like it, you can chop it up for fodder, or you could use it for some die cuts, or you can stick it on a card if you actually really like it. I'm going to take a quick second and show you my tag board. I love tags, and I try to rotate these in and out each season just to keep things interesting. And this one will definitely be joining that collection. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner. And Until next time, happy crafting.